What's good, my faders? It's your boy Fade. In today's VGV, I'll be talking about the Division's first paid DLC, Underground. I know some people are confused about 1.3 and Underground as them being the same thing, but they're totally different. The 1.3 update is free for everyone, which gives everybody the new gear set, Alpha Bridge, the weapon changes, mostly the nerfs, new weapons, and the weapon recalibration option. Whereas Underground gives you the Underground mission type, a new incursion, the Dragon's Nest, and the remaining sets that came out. So, with that cleared up, let's get into it. Now, I've been watching the Division go from soaring high to falling flat and then back to a leveled plateau, which has been painful and rewarding. I mean, in the beginning, this game was all that I played. Then, when those issues came in that started plaguing the game, I kind of fell back. And quite a few of them I did address in my VGV I've done a while back called The Division is Broken. It's really nice to see that they've listened to the community and have addressed some of those issues. Okay, so Underground, what is it? Well, like I said previously, Underground is the first paid DLC expansion for the Division. You get access to a new area and the base of operations called the Terminal. Inside the Terminal, you are able to access your HVTs, you have a crafting table, you have a vendor, and you also get access to the underground area where you run missions to clear out enemies in the underbelly of Manhattan. Now, the way that the missions are set up, they're instanced. Like every other main story mission, they allow you to choose your difficulty, matchmaker solo, and then you also can pick up directives, which is a new thing, but I'll get into that later. Now, in regards to story missions in Underground, they do have some similarities, but it's only because the fact that you can choose the difficulty and matchmake. The big difference between story mission and Underground is that story missions, you know what to expect. They switched it up a little bit with the new DLC coming out, especially for the cleaners, being that on challenging and heroic, the engineers use the flame trucks that are available to them in Dragon's Nest. But as for Underground missions, those are procedurally generated. Procedurally generated means, for those of you who don't know, is that the objective, layout, enemy faction, and bosses, or boss, most of the time it's just one boss, are going to be different each time you run. This helps make the grind, yeah, you have to grind in this, more enjoyable. Now, the grind is a means to an end, but they added in a new rank with this expansion called your Underground rank. It's separate from your basic leveling and your dark zone. So now you have 3 bars instead of 2 on your character loadout. Now, leveling your Underground rank is done through the completion of operations and finding intel, such as cell phones and photos, which you do on the basic map of Manhattan. Now, as you level, you gain access to some goodies. Those would be the ability to run more phases, which you can run up to 3 phases, and by doing so allows you to get better gear and more experience, which the experience is done to raise the level cap, and your level cap gives you the ability, like in the Dark Zone, to buy better gear, and also raising the level unlocks the directives. Now, what are directives? Directives are modifiers that are added to your current operation to increase the challenge and also give more experience. Think skulls from Halo. You know, you add some of those in, they take away the HUD, make enemies stronger, or have enemies throwing more grenades. This is kind of sort of how, not even kind of sort of, this is exactly how the directives work. You know, and it helps test your skills whether you're running as a lone wolf or a group, and especially moving up into higher difficulties. Now, like I said before, running the directives will help you get the most amount of experience, but the optimal amount of experience that you could be gained from underground missions would be having heroic with all 5 of the directives active and running a 3-phase. I don't really know how much experience that gives because I haven't got up there that high. But let's explain these directives. So, first up, Fog of War. It disables the minimap and removes the hit detector. Running this, you'll have to run Pulse on your team, or you can use the jammers to spot enemies for you, but this can be quite a bit of a challenge, especially if you're heavily reliant on your map. Next is Mad Skills. Using one of your skills puts both skills on cooldown, and then using your signature puts your entire team's signature skills on cooldown. Now, it's already difficult when you pop both of your skills and you're waiting for the cooldowns to run, but with certain weapons and also higher skill power, it can help speed this up. But in higher difficulties, popping your heal to save yourself and your teammates just to end up getting critically hit again, and you don't have your support station or your other skill that may be used for medical or defensive capabilities because it's on cooldown, can hurt. But not as bad as somebody popping their signature and everybody having to wait out that time to get it back. Next, Waste Not, Want Not. Reloading your gun before the clip is empty means that you lose all the remaining bullets left in that clip. So, I would have to say also, it cuts your ammo capacity, your max ammo capacity, I believe, in half. So, make sure that you start practicing shooting all of your bullets out from that clip before reloading, because ammo is also extremely scarce in this with this mod on. But I believe running a 2-piece Lone Star will definitely be a good way to help ease the difficulty of this mod, especially in higher difficulties. Then next we have Special Forces. Special Forces allows enemies to use special ammo, and this is depending on enemy type. This is going to be a real pain in the ass, especially running with cleaners and LMB, being that I'm more sure cleaners are going to have incendiary, LMB is most likely going to have explosive. So make sure that your exotic damage resilience is really high, or you're pretty much going to get wiped really quickly. Lastly, we have Sickness, which is the most harsh of all the directives. This has you losing health at a constant rate. Now, you can heal normally through med packs and healing skills, but I would only recommend running this if you have an extremely well thought out team and you're optimally geared to be able to keep your health replenished. So running certain skills that increase health or restore health upon kill. I can't remember those exact talents, but those I would definitely suggest, actually I would suggest recommend running if you're going to play with Sickness on, just to help keep your health pool at a decent rate. Alright, so now that we got directives out the way, let's talk about maps. The maps for Underground are amazingly designed, in my opinion. They actually remind me a lot of how Warframe does their maps. It's, a specific amount of tiles, and they're just thrown in a random generated engine, and then it just slaps them into the map, and that's your map. Now, the maps are huge. I mean, huge. There's scale, scope, elevation. You can have alternate routes. There's tactical hazards. It's just a lot. I mean, I love the fact that you can flank. You can climb up to get vantage points, and overall get lost, especially if you don't have the map on. And if you're solo, it's very easy to get lost. Now, the objectives give you various things to do as well, from protecting a generator to having to clear out enemies before in the areas leading up to a boss before they escape. The variety is of 6 variants, but you'll always be on your toes because the maps will be put in different locations. You may fight a boss in a tight corridor or in an open corridor. You might fight them in a elevated area or a flat surface. But honestly, with the fact of how the maps and the objectives are done, it's similar to like Diablo, where you're doing the same thing, but the fact that it's a different take on it keeps it really fresh and new. Now, as you know, with any mission that's done in the Division, there's always a boss fight. That's how you know that you've gotten to the end. And those vary as well. You can go from fighting a heavy gunner or a flamer, which, you would not want to fight in those tight corridors, but you could end up with a sniper and a tight corridor. Easy pickings. It's happened to me, which made it extremely easy because she popped up, stunned her with a flashbang grenade, and we all just rushed in and wiped her down. Now, getting caught with a flamer or a heavy machine gun guy, or even the dude with the shield, that's a whole nother tactic to apply because they do some serious damage the closer that you get to them. Now, of course, with killing HVT bosses, story mode bosses, bosses in the dark zone, and of course bosses in the underground, you're going to get a drop upon bosses. It'll be either a gold or a gear set piece and Phoenix credits. Now, once you collect your loot, you do head for an evac location, but make sure that you check the chest. There's usually a giant yellow chest right before you get to the door to leave. It doesn't always have the best gear, but you're usually going to get something decent, but you're always guaranteed yellow crafting mats. Now, as you level up, you're going to be given something known as an underground cache. These caches have the ability to either give you a weapon or a gear set piece, and the roll's gear score is based off your current gear score at that time, I believe. I'm at the time 214-ish, between 214 and 219, and I've really only been getting 214s or 240 gear pieces and 182 and 204 weapons. Now, it's still a good way to get some better gear quickly and boost up your gear score to run the harder difficulties, but at the same time, it is a bit annoying, especially when you're hoping to get a gear set piece and you just constantly get weapons. Now, I have to say, despite all the positive things that I enjoy about the game, there are some buggy issues in it, which is to be expected. I mean, every MMO has their bugs. Now, one of them, honestly, I would say right now is kind of game breaking, which is where the mission itself will crash and ends up locking you in the room, and the only way you really can get out is, unfortunately, to force quit that mission, which, if you don't know, dying in an underground mission causes you to lose all your progress that you made and kicks you out. Force quitting is the same thing. That sucks. I'd rather know that I got kicked out because I died, not because something happened to the mission and the game lost itself and now we're stuck in a room with nowhere to go. Then the other one isn't really much of a bug, more so of an annoyance, is the fact that because of how large the maps are in Underground, the waypoint seems to get itself confused, which can have you running around the room looking for where to go, and sometimes you may have to go above or below you, and then you go to that area and then it has you going in a backtrack right back to where you just were, and it's like, really? Then this also kind of goes for the intel. It's the fact that at times it pops up on the map, but it doesn't really pop up correctly. Like, you can see it on floor that you're on, but it's not going to pop up until the next section, and you don't see it on your mini-map. Now, of course, if you are running Fog of War, it's not going to pop up at all, which makes sense, and I guess that's probably why they do it this way, but I think they need to possibly address that a little better. So, with all that said, Underground is a blast to play. I've been playing it quite a bit. It's been one of the main things I've been running since it released, alongside with a couple of dailies. But it's definitely fun, and I don't know if it'll bring back a lot of players, but it definitely will give people who enjoy Diablo 3 and other games that are pretty much nothing more than loot grinders something new and enjoyable to do in the Division. So with that, I'll check you guys later. Peace.